Good evening. I call this meeting of the North Adams City Council to order for January 13th, 2026. This meeting can be viewed live on Northern Berkshire Community Television Station, Channel 1303, and will be posted to the website as soon as possible. We will also be live streaming on YouTube at youtube.com/@NorthAdams. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Lisa Blackmere.
Here.
Keith Bona.
Here.
Andrew Green.
Here.
Andrew Fetch.
Here.
Marie McCarran. Here. Here. Alexa McDonald.
Here.
Brian Sapienza.
Here.
Lillian Zavatsky.
Here.
Ashley Shea.
Present.
I'm present.
We have 9 present. We do have a quorum. At this time, if everyone could please stand for a moment of silence remembrance. And the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we will open the joint convention with the City Council and the North Adams School Committee. Mayor?
Thank you, President Shade. So tonight we have a joint meeting of the North Adams City Council and the North Adams School Committee. Pursuant to the Acts of 2021 of Chapter 20, this meeting will be conducted in person and via remote means. This means that any persons of the public body who wishes to address us may do so in person or by virtual means. In-person attendance means here at City Hall. This meeting will be, we have all of our committee members present, so we still are on Zoom video conference call. Every effort will be made to ensure that this meeting is adequately accessible to the public. So we will start with a roll call of the City Council again. Shade.
Present.
Fitch.
Here.
Blackmer. Here. Bona.
Here.
Green.
Here.
McDonald.
Here.
McCarran.
Here.
Sapienza.
Here.
Zavatsky. Here. And I miss Keith Bona. Did I say your name, Keith?
I said it.
Okay. So with that, a roll call of the school committee. Chamberlain.
Present.
Donis. Here. Jacobs. Here. Suki.
Here.
Tomkowitz. Here. Maxey present. We do have a quorum of both bodies. So tonight we have the privilege of presenting 4 candidates for the position open on the school committee. Each candidate will have 3 minutes timed by the timer next to City Clerk Bianigio to present their statements to the convention. Then the committees will have up to 10 minutes to ask questions of the candidate. Upon no further questions, the 3-minute timer will reset and the next candidate will begin. Their statements to the convention members and questions can be asked. I will then go back to the committees and ask them if they have any further questions before we call for a motion. We are very fortunate tonight to have 4 candidates with vast backgrounds. So to start, I'd like to call Jackie up to start us off. Thank you.
I've performed in theaters of hundreds of people, and I've never been this nervous.
Are we ready?
We're ready.
Okay.
Mayor Maxey, Council President Shade, City Councilors, and members of the school committee. Thank you for this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Jackie DeGeorgis, and I have lived in North Adams since 1982, when my parents, Adelard Myatt and Elsie Leonasio, moved back home from after retirement. When I was thinking what I would say tonight to all of you, I realized something absolutely amazing. Every wonderful thing that I have had happen to me in my life is a direct result of my connections with North Adams Public Schools. A husband I adore, a fulfilling career that I absolutely loved, children I am so very proud of, and a pastime that I am extremely passionate about. I began teaching in North Adams in 1993 at Conti Middle School. That's where I met my husband, Butch, who was a special education teacher at the time. This April, we'll be celebrating 30 years of marriage. The following year, I transferred up to Drury, where I spent the next 30 years teaching biology. It was at Drury where I feel I blossomed as an educator, supported by the district and my colleagues. They allowed me to be the teacher that I wanted to be, my own style of teaching. I don't know if they realized it at the time, but that included singing the 17 parts of a eukaryotic cell in class, or dancing a conga line through the halls of the school to memorize the levels of classification. I feel extremely blessed having been able to serve my entire teaching career within North Adams Public Schools. My two daughters, Ella and Sam, both graduated from Drury. Ella in 2005 and Sam in 2007. Ella transferred to Drury High School because she had begun transitioning and was bullied at her former school. As a parent, I cannot thank the school committee and Drury High School for their commitment to their Gay Straight Alliance, just a bunch of people, and to Mr. Greg Houston for his many years of being its advisor. At Drury, Ella found a supportive community that allowed her to grow and to learn. Today, she is an advocate for her community and has recently bought a house and moved back to North Adams.
Jackie, I'm going to have to ask you to wrap it up in 30 seconds.
That's all right, I just got to the boring part. I guess what I really want to say is, as someone who has received so many gifts from the city of North Adams and North Adams Public Schools, I feel the best way I can say thank you is by serving in the school committee.
Thank you, Jackie, very much. I'm sorry to cut you off.
That's okay.
Okay, you can stay right there.
I was a teacher, I could talk forever.
Do we have any questions for Jackie?
Just a point of clarification. Questions that we have for all of the candidates, should we reserve them for the very end? Or
You should ask them now. Please. Do you have a question, Cody?
I do.
Okay, please go ahead.
Over the next year, we're going to be negotiating contracts with teachers, which is one of the most significant portions of our budget. And this is the question that I have for each and every one of our candidates, and I want to say that I appreciate your particular perspective of your role as a retired teacher from this district. When considering the various aspects of the contract that we're going to be having with our teachers, how will we consider the interests of students, our families, and our community at large?
Our educators are the front line to our young people in this community. They need to be supported and appreciated. And I feel the very least that we can do in order to attract the kind of educators that we want in our district is to pay them a fair wage commensurate with other school districts in the area. Okay? Welcome.
Counselor Fitch.
Yes, a question I was also curious about hearing from each of the candidates is why right now? Why do you want this now as opposed to the last election cycle or the next election cycle? What made you do this tonight?
Number one reason for me, I've recently retired. And thank you. And that, above all, was my impetus of actually wanting to give back.
Thank you.
School Committee Member Jacobs.
I don't remember that. If you were running in an election and in a forum where you were a candidate, can you give us what your platform might be as to why you want to be on the school committee and have current priorities or?
My priorities would be two things. It would be supporting the arts in the schools. As I didn't get a chance to say, but my passion for acting is directly as a result of my dealings with North Adams Public Schools. That is an important part, would be an important part of my platform, as well as supporting non-traditional students in the sense of non-binary, transgendered students in our community.
Anyone else?
Yes.
President Shade.
Yes. First, thank you for taking this opportunity and putting your name, submitting your ideas here before us tonight. My question is going to be for all of the candidates, so the public is aware. What qualifications and experience do you have in education?
I say that too, sir.
We only have 6 minutes left.
As I always say to my students. Okay. I taught for a little over 30 years at Drury High School, and I have my master's in secondary ed with a concentration in brain-based instruction, which is where my heart is. As a science teacher, we should be teaching the way the brain learns. And that's where I learned about singing and movement as important mechanisms for learning. I am currently acting as an instructor at MCLA for their anatomy and physiology lab. So I work 1 day a week there doing that, which has been a blessing, actually having students that I had at Drury, now at MCLA, coming in and singing the 17 parts of the cell for me. So I don't know what else. I actually majored in biology thinking that I wanted to work in a lab. My first job was at Williams College working through a grant program in a lab, and I hated it because it was me and a microscope. And I just on a whim went to Berkshire Community College and taught a biology lab. And the first time I got up in front of a group of students, I said, this is what I want to do. And went back to school and got my teaching certificate and then on to my master's. So
Anyone else? Jackie, thank you so much.
thank you for
Thank you.
having me.
President Shea, could we reset the clock to 3 minutes?
Yep,
Yeah, I didn't,
it's gonna work this time.
Okay.
Okay, try it out.
So next will be Alexandra. Please come on up and join us. Sit down. Oh, okay, there it is.
Go ahead and turn it. It's gonna make noise first, and then it'll start counting down, so begin when it starts counting down. Okay. Go ahead.
All yours.
Is it working?
There we go.
Hello, members of the school committee, city council, community members. My name is Alex Diodezio, and I'm really glad to be here with you all today, and also a little nervous. I am an art and public school advocate, and I have been ever since my own public school education. I started my career as a high school English teacher. I worked at a small public school in the Bronx for 7 years. I served as the English department head and the 12th grade instructional team lead for most of my time there. I also worked as a college counselor at that same school and designed and scaffolded systems of support for the really wide-ranging needs of a diverse student body that we had there. I managed scheduling practices for students and faculty. I really was able to serve a lot of different positions across several years and get a pretty global sense of the public school system. From there, I transitioned into college admissions, where I partnered with public schools across the country, including in Berkshire County, and advised students on post-secondary pathways. Most recently, I pursued a master's in mental health counseling, when I just really saw the growing and significant socio-emotional needs of all folks, but particularly of young people. And I now work as a therapist at Williams College, working directly with students. I have supported countless young people through a number of different transitions and challenges, and I believe deeply in the worth of every individual. I'm passionate about service and collaboration and would really be eager to bring that energy into the North Adams School Committee. I'm drawn to the work with the North Adams School District. I think there's a lot of impressive undertakings, including the Greylock School that's going to be built, the Momentum Schools Initiative for which Drury was recently selected, among so many others. And I really believe that this is important work to do. As an educator, as a member of the North Adams community, as a mom of 2 young children as well. I've also noticed a growing number of folks in the community choosing to leave the public school system for alternative options, and I'm really eager to join in the work of attracting families to stay, and really just continuing to build thoughtful and meaningful initiatives and experiences for students and families. I really believe that public schools are the beating heart of the community, and I'm eager to be a part of that important work for this community. Thank you.
Questions from the City Council? Councilor Fitch.
The same question about timing for you.
Yeah.
Why are you choosing to pursue this right now as opposed to last election cycle or next election cycle?
The honest truth, I think, is that part of it is just there would have been a fear for me in joining into an election cycle, never having run for an elected position, and now I sort of question this standing in front of you all in this format, but initially it felt a little less intimidating to submit a letter of interest. So I think that's a big part of it, honestly. It's just sort of, it's been something I've been thinking about. I mean, public schools have always been just near and dear to my heart, but it's been something I've been being increasingly drawn back towards, and when I saw the article saying there was this opening, it sort of just felt like something serendipitous to give me enough of a tip into throwing my hat in the ring.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else from the City Council? Councilor Bona.
Yeah, so I see you have a child that's starting or
He'll be starting in preschool this coming year, yeah.
And do you see, I mean, I obviously that will give you some insight of that particular class, but do you see that as a plus of being a parent and that in the school community?
a plus meaning that he'll be joining into the school
You
district.
would be a parent of a child in the city.
Oh, yeah. To me, absolutely. I'm sure, I'm sure it draws you in multiple directions and obviously gives you a personal bias in it all, but I also think it gives you a personal investment. And absolutely, I plan to have my kids in the public school system, and I think that being a part of that system from multiple different angles, for me, that's always been what's central in education, is being somebody who's embedded in the system but can look from multiple different perspectives, which is why I chose so many different roles across systems.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Bona. Anyone else from the City Council? President Shade.
Yes. I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked our other candidate.
Sure.
What experience do you have in education? Again, this is more for the folks at home and in the gallery. What experience do you have in education?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I worked in a high school for really a total of about 8 years in New York City. I have a master's in English secondary education. I have a master's in mental health counseling as well. I basically centered my career around educational sort of pursuits from the moment that I entered into undergrad throughout my time post-graduation, and currently working as a therapist at Williams College, so in a slightly different perspective around education, but still very close to students, and every position that I've chosen has really been about serving students, because that's what really matters to me.
And from the school committee? School committee Chamberlain.
Yes, same question. And thank you again for taking the time to come before as well.
Sure.
But in considering our negotiations with teachers in their contract over the next year, how will you consider the interests of our students? Are they in this community at large?
Yeah. I think my answer is similar in that I think teachers have to be considered the pivotal part of the school system that they are. And so having a fair and competitive wage is critical to me, and really I think at the heart of that too, understanding how much is gained by teachers that stay in a system and can build knowledge of a place, can build knowledge of people, and really hone practices over many years. And I think that a wage is central to people choosing to be there.
Anyone else from the school committee? School committee member Jacobs.
Oh, I'll ask my question as well, trying to be consistent.
Sure.
If you were in a campaign situation, does it what would you vote for?
Yeah. I think the top priority for me would be really partnering with families and the community to make sure that they're aware of the offerings here in the public school system and to get them again to stay. I mean, there's practical implications to that obviously, but also just on a really, I think, day-to-day level, I think there's an importance to me to having these gathering grounds that are public schools, and to having a diverse range of students reflected there. So that would be, I think, central to me, as well as really thinking about how the school system caters to the really wide-ranging needs of students as they think about life after graduation, and really setting them up for successful pathways no matter what they might choose.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so just moving right along, next will be Kayla.
Please take a look at the clock and begin when it finishes its window.
It's already set at 3.
Oh, okay, surprise. Great. Hello, everyone. My name is Kayla Solomon Lane, and I am so excited to have the opportunity to be selected for the North Adams School Committee. I am a school teacher, have been for many years, beginning right after college. I've taught elementary, high school SAT classes, middle school math, private piano lessons, and everything in between. No matter where I've gone, kids are basically the same, simply young humans trying to figure out the world they find themselves in, and I love helping them figure out their place in it. Children have always been important to me. My husband Reed and I were foster parents in Austin, Texas. We have since welcomed our own 3 children, Hugo, who is in kindergarten at Brayton Elementary, Vera, who will join him at Brayton next year, and Felix, who is at WCP.
The final piece of my backstory is the strong belief in the local community. The world is struggling in so many ways right now. News and politics are exhausting and heavy all the time. On a global scale, collective humanity is eluding the human species. However, on a local scale, that is where there is hope. And so here I am. I want to strengthen the partnership between NAPS and the community. I believe public education is the cornerstone of our town, and if we want our town to thrive, our schools must first be places that are safe, inclusive, challenging, empathetic, and consistent. If we are to hold adults in our community to a standard of kindness and reason, we must first model that in public schools, because that is where it starts. I also know the constraints of money and resources facing public education today. The town, the schools, and the families are all interconnected. Schools are having to make harsh choices, just like our local communities. The stresses of living in 2026 are very real and always present. Families and seniors in our town face some of the highest costs of living in our nation. Poverty is all too prevalent, and we cannot pretend that this isn't the reality most families are grappling with every day. Historically, when our town has faced financial constraints, we have justified making cuts to our school system as a stopgap. I urge us to remember that every cut we make to our schools only serves to perpetuate the cycle of poverty and struggle that has too long gripped this beautiful community. Providing adequate funds for the public education system has and always will be an investment in future generations of our beloved town. I believe that if we work together creatively to harness the resources of human capital, local businesses, and the talent which is so abundant in our town, we will find solutions. Resources should be pulled to provide each child with the most opportunities, just as we did with the rezoning of our elementary schools. Regionalization is another great opportunity for this. This town is such a diverse juxtaposition of culture and nature, and the possibilities are endless if we utilize the resources right in our midst. As a parent, my perspective is that there is no such thing as over-communication when it comes to the line connecting schools and families. In today's world of misinformation and extreme polarization, we must make that information highway as well-traveled and natural as possible. We must deepen this relationship between the classroom and the home more than ever. All right, so I've spoken a little bit. I hope you have a solid understanding, and I know I have lots to learn, but I'm a teacher, which means I'm also a skilled learner. I believe I will be a committed and industrious new member, and I hope you give me the opportunity to be a part of the great things happening in NAPS in this community. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions from the school committee first. I'm switching it up.
Switching it up.
School committee member Chamberlain.
When considering the terms of our contract with teachers into the next 3 years, how will you consider the interests of our students, our families, and our community at large?
I think similar to the other two candidates, we have to attract and keep skilled and talented teachers, and the best way to do that is to provide them with, yes, a fair and competitive wage compared to other school districts in the area, but I also think that the atmosphere of the school matters so much to teachers. The administration itself is vital, and also having that community relationship, which I feel like, at least in my experience at Brayton, is something that is a little too less traveled, I should say. Like it's not very easy to be a volunteer in the schools and to have that relationship with families in the community that makes being a teacher something that you want to do every day. When you have that communication, when you have that safe and encouraging and supportive environment from the administration and the community. I know that was inchoate, and I'm sorry. Very nervous.
Doing great. Tara?
Assuming as well as an actual election cycle.
Yes. So I have taught in, before I moved up here, I teach in Stanford, Vermont right now, just for the public record, and I have since we moved up here in 2022. I have taught in a lot of private and nature-based schools too, when I got a little frustrated with the standardized testing. I think social emotional learning is key. That will be a huge priority for me. Project-based learning, real-world problem solving, arts education, and really teaching digital literacy and skills of collaboration that are needed in today's world.
Anyone else from the school committee? Hearing none, city councilors? Councilor Fitch.
Kayla, why did you choose to pursue this right now as opposed to last election cycle or next election cycle?
Yeah, I'm going to reiterate what I heard the previous candidate say, which is it seemed much easier. I have a 1.5-year-old. I wanted to wait until I was done with kids. I've wanted, as my husband can attest, to be involved in city council and school board since we were in Austin, Texas, and part of moving to a smaller community was really getting that chance to do that. And so this seemed the easier route. Again, not so sure anymore.
Thank you.
Great. Anyone else? Councilor Bona.
Yeah, I'll switch it up just because then no one can be prepared here. So, so since obviously without having an election and having to get up and do the formalities there, but once, if you are on school committee, how do you feel you are as a person to be able to stand up and debate and argue something that you feel is right, even if the majority feels like it's going the other way? Have you had the experience in that?
Well, I actually was a debater in high school and then at Baylor University where I did my undergrad, which is why I tend to speak fast. But I'm incredibly passionate and I have never had any problem stating my opinions. I think that when you back them up with facts and evidence, and then always approach with compassion and empathy, that's where, the lost art of being able to compromise and negotiate comes in.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the city council? President Shade.
Thank you. Again, thank you for putting yourself out there. And for the people at home, these questions for them. We've kind of touched on it, but can you go in a little deeper on your experience, what experience you have within education?
Yeah, so I started running a piano studio with my mom when I was a freshman in high school because I was a piano major at Baylor University. I then taught SAT and GRE for the Princeton Review and College and tutored. After college, I joined Teach for America, which let me be a piano major and go teach in a public school in California. And since then, during that, I also decided I was going to get a PhD in philosophy, which made me realize being a teaching assistant was what I loved most of all. And so I went to teach in the Republic of Georgia, in Tokyo, and then I moved back to Texas and got my footing in nature-based schools, very progressive models, which really informed me to be able to move back into public education and use those same skills in the micro public school of Sanford, Vermont that I do now.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Kayla? Kayla, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, next we have Eric Wilson.
Can you turn the clock on? Sorry, I hit my hip.
That's okay.
There we go.
All right. Please watch the clock when it's going to count you down and then start.
It's going to go back.
Now?
Nope.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm a little nervous. Well, I shouldn't be nervous. I'm used to talking in front of people. My name is Eric Wilson. Why I want to be on the school community because I have experience on this side. I've never been a teacher. I heard that teaching is not always go to school and teach people. I teach a lot of people, high school kids, experience, what I've been through. I wrote a book. Someone helped me write a book, and so I got some experience. I just feel like I can do it and understand a lot of stuff, and money. I have a disability. I'm more concerned about kids parents and kids and teacher to get along with each other, how to help people with disability and not disability. It's so important they talk to each other. When I grew up, we talked to each other, but we never did talk about people with disability, and it's so important today, and kids are getting bullied, and teachers gotta stand up and say, enough is enough. That's why I want to be on the school community. This is who I am. I do stand up for it. I've never been a teacher or anything like that. I'm being truthful with you. But I understand on my side how teacher taught me and how to compensate that, and I still have to do that. And I know when to get help and ask for help and all that, and it's really, someone's over there. So this is who I am, and I ran twice. I almost got in, but hopefully I thank you, counselor, to listen to me, and the school community and the community over here voted for me, and I love the kids. They are very smart in a lot of ways, and I'm very protective of them. I go to the college at MCLA and talk to them, and talk to women college, and we go out, and I do all kinds of stuff in the community here. I love doing the reindeer and the Easter Bunny.
Great. Thank you, Eric. We're going to open up to questions. Thank you. So let me get my timer going. Okay. Where did we do school committee? Now we're back to the city council. Questions from the city council. Councilor Fitch.
Good evening, Eric. The same question that I asked the others as well. Why are you deciding to pursue this right now as opposed to last election cycle? I realize you did, however, and also next election cycle. You know, why now as opposed to next time?
I feel like I'm ready to do it. I'm 64. I'm going to be 65 this year. I felt like that down and work up. And I feel like I'm ready to do it. I got a lot of good ideas of what thing I was talking to the superintendent about, and I'm going to be meeting with him again and talk about more about it and what we can do a little bit improve on that. I really am concerned for the teacher get a good salary so they can teach the kids. It's really interesting, so.
Great.
So did I answer your questions?
You did, thank you.
Anyone else from the city council? President Shade.
Thank you, Mayor. First, Eric, I want to say congratulations for not only running for office, but coming back here and submitting your name even after the results of the election. That takes a lot of courage and something you should be proud of.
Yeah, I know. I'm very proud.
The question I have for you is the same one you have for everyone else.
Yeah,
Can you tell us about your experience in education? I don't think I have any of that. I mean, I can't get on the school community because I don't understand education. Well, I understand education of how the teacher taught me, how I got taught, and sometimes it was good and sometimes it wasn't good. Some of the teachers some of them don't understand people with disabilities. Pushing someone that part of the brain is there is not really good. Did I answer your question? Yeah, thank you.
Great, thank you, Eric. Anyone else from the city council? Alexa.
Hi, Eric. Thank you for coming today. Can you speak a little bit about your background, not from education, but what would prepare you for this role? Whether it's like jobs, volunteering, anything like that?
Volunteering stuff?
Yeah.
What I volunteer is to help, I talk to high school kids, I talk to the college kids and stuff like that. That's where I get most of my experience and be myself, and they talk to me. They trust me. One thing they like about me is I'm very truthful with myself, not being ashamed who I am with my disability, and I thank God for my disability every day. I used to be ashamed of it, but not anymore. This is who I am, and I'm making a difference in the community. Anybody else?
Thank you, Eric. It's okay. Councilor Sapienza.
Yes, Mr. Wilson, you mentioned something about bullying in the schools. If any ideas do you have to help maybe prevent future bullying, and any ideas on how you would pursue that?
What I've been thinking is talk about in the schools. When I went to Mount Gola, we would talk about bullying and have certain rules to prevent it. Or if someone did bully them, they'll be kicked out for a while. Or someone bully a person with a disability, they should be, instead of kicking them out, they need to be with people with disability. That would be a good punishment, and understand people with disability. That would make them wake up a little bit. That's what I wanted to see when I was in high school.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Questions from the school committee? School Committee Chamberlain.
Yes, Mr. Wilson, thank you again for coming out and speaking with us today. Same question again, and I appreciate that you going to the rest of it. Any chance that you'd like to elaborate when considering our contract with teachers over the next year, the terms therein, how do you consider the interests of our students, our families, and our community at large?
I would love to see the parent get more involved. I would love to see the teacher get a little salary once in a while, help them get what they need, help the student to understand the teacher, they're more caring for them and all that. I would love to see, I would really love to see, I would love to see parent and teacher and kids sit down at a meeting and discuss their education, because I think that's needed. Because they are part of their life, and we're all in the community. We're all responsible for the kids, no matter what, teacher or not teacher. That's how I feel. I had a big brother, and it made a difference in my life. So.
Great. Tara?
First off, I want to echo what was said earlier. It's an encouragement for persistence to submit better. And I hear that it came in real fast, and so I commend you for your perseverance. So this question may be easier for you to answer, so that someone else, I don't care. In this moment, this was a candidate forum and election season, how would you present what your platform is for this next meeting?
Say that again. Repeat that again, please.
Let's pretend this is an actual election season, and you're running for the office of school committee. And this is a forum where candidates are asking for the vote.
Yeah.
What would be, so like a platform, like what would be your priority agenda items that you would highlight as why you want to go elected?
highlight when I was running for a school community. A lot of people were glad I was doing it. My platform is representing people with disability. I know I'm called to help. That's my calling, and it's so important. And I'm doing that right now. Trying to get into the schools to talk about my book and stuff like that. That'll be my platform. And the book really is helping a lot of people. People that don't have disability and do have disability. That's my platform. And it's always been my platform. God gave it to me. I thank God for the Lord, even though I'm not perfect. Not yet.
Any other questions for Mr. Wilson? Okay, thank you so much, Eric. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
President Shea, I got a text saying that the sound quality is really not particularly good at all.
Okay.
Just if there's something anybody can do about it.
Yep. I'll do that in 1 second. So, any further discussion from the city council or the school committee? School committee member Donis.
I just want to take a quick moment to say, and for a second forward, just want to look at us to say, actually, just go through myself also. Which is very valuable, very important, and of course he says all the time, but I think it's important, feel so sad that we want to see each of us as amazing qualities that we really are just represented also on the school committee, so please just whoever is selected tonight, please know that we are represented extremely well, we really appreciate your time, we thank you for sending forward, and we encourage you to run, the election cycle is not it's justifies the process that can also be
Anyone else? I have a question. Go ahead. No, I'm just trying to form City Councilor Zalatsky. I'm working hard on your last name. I'm working hard on that. No, very good. I have a question for the school committee. So a good board has diverse experiences, and so are there particular perspectives that you feel could complement your current board, particular backgrounds that either are represented or could be better represented on your committee? Go ahead, Emily.
Now I'm going to talk about it. I do want to say
You will be invited back.
It's interesting to see how you're stepping.
I have teaching experience. Okay, but I'm on the committee.
So I found it very interesting actually many kids teaching qualifications and also there was a great viewpoint from disability.
Tara?
Yeah, I was just going to say, sorry, it dawned on me today, I think, that I like being officer in the school committee member in the law. I'm my 11th year on the school committee, and so I've seen it evolve and change over the years. And when I started, I had only preschool and that was, I think that perspective, we have several parents of kids in the district on board, and I think that experience is valuable for reasons that some of the parents alluded to actually. That was also when I started with a fellow incoming member
who has also the education, teaching, and classroom experience, which was an incredibly productive and strategically useful experience to bring to the work, and he brought, day-to-day real-world curriculum advice and insight, negotiation, and so on all the factors that are important to commuters, someone who was a voice of experience and we benefited from having that. And, my global view on, what's important, those things are very important. I am so proud of the school committee that we have and the communication, but also the ability to engage and debate productive flexibility with opposing incomplete to get come to a place where the decision is made, there's no personalization of it, and it's an engagement of the choice and a continued rebuild and productive moving forward. And that's a little rare in the state of the moment. Not names and to chase anything, but that's important. I value that. And so having someone who's good at looking at the collective and the way school committee, the position is intended not to be a political pursuit. It's about what's best for the kids, what's best for our staff, what's best for our community, and making those decisions coming to make those decisions in a way that really is genuinely for the greater good and not a divisive kind of situation. So those are the things that I prioritize and hope that the decision we have tonight will serve the community well, it will serve the community well.
Anyone else? Councilor Mona.
Again, thank you all four of you for applying for this. It's funny that a couple of you said that you thought this would be easier. To be quite honest with you, I don't think it is. From what I saw tonight, you are doing more as a forum than I think what I saw this past election, based off what the media and all that gave you attention. So that being said, only one of you will be selected, but you probably made it comfortable for maybe any members who decide they don't want to run next year to feel like there could be some good members to fill some seats. So I would strongly suggest to those who don't get selected, because I'm looking at this and I'm like, it's close. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm going to flip a coin or something, because I'm impressed with what I saw up there. So I don't know. I at this point, don't know where I'm going yet with this, but it's I'm impressed with what showed up. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Bona. School Committee Member Chamberlain.
I'd like to also respond to Councilor Sabatski's question about criteria for this decision. And I think that as we transition to a less experienced school committee, with the departure of school committee member Alton Wright, who has served for so long, I think that it is valuable to think about who is committed to this community, and I want to express my appreciation once again to Applicant Wilson for his continued expressions of interest in serving and engaging with the school committee. Also, I think it's really important that we continue to represent the interests of parents that are so engaged in the education of their communities and our community as such deeply invested members. And so, Advocate Solomon Lennon and Via Rosio for coming out, and I think that all of you will continue to express your interest in these roles as there is a continued need for participation and engagement in the work. And I want to express my particular appreciation for the experience and perspective that Adeline DeGeorge brings in her addition to our community, to our school district. I think that from a perspective is very much what is in line with the things that we need and the perspectives that we represented within our school. So with that, I will...
Let me see if, hold on one second. I just want to make sure if we have any more discussion. Councilor Shade.
Thank you. This is one of the most difficult decisions that we've had to make on the council in my terms on this council. We have 4 wonderful candidates who are putting themselves out there, 4 people who are stepping up, not only for the schools, but for the entire community, stepping up and wanting to serve. And to me, that is a very beautiful thing. So thank you, thank you, thank you for being here and being willing to serve your community. That being said, God, this is going to be very difficult.
Okay, so if I, go ahead, Councilor.
Yes. Again, this is going to be a very difficult decision, but I do feel like the school committee has laid out what they're looking for in experience and the types of candidates they're looking for. My inclination is to go with their thoughts and ideas. I will say for the future, for people, if you're in this position again, reach out and contact us, talk to us more. I would have loved to hear more from the candidates in advance, other than just waiting for tonight. I think that really would have helped make a difference in making a decision, because we didn't get a lot of opportunity to hear from everybody in advance or get a good idea of where everybody stood before tonight took place. I have a much better idea now, but I still think it would have been very beneficial to have had conversations with the candidates in advance and have them reach out to us. So I will say for the future, if this happens again, I would strongly recommend candidates who put their names forward to also reach out and have conversations with the school committee members and the counselors to give more of a background and ideas of what you're looking to achieve. Thank you.
Thank you, President Shade. Any further discussion? We're on discussion right this moment. So I just want to say before we call for a vote, a no vote doesn't mean that we don't believe in you. Just coming here tonight, you all get a gold star in my book. So the way it will work is that the process will continue until a new school committee member has been elected via simple majority vote of all of you. So if I vote for one person and you don't want to vote for that person, it's okay to say no. No one's going to take it personally, okay? If you have another candidate, and it will go on until we have a majority vote. But hopefully it will go quickly, because this is taking much longer than I had anticipated. So with that, I will entertain a motion. Mr. Suki, I looked at you first.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Alexandra Diagizio as our school committee member.
Second by Tara. Any discussion about that? Okay, I'm sorry, discussion. Vote, okay. Yes, ma'am. So roll call. Chamberlain? It's okay, Cody. No, you're not, silence is a no.
Sorry?
Are you going to vote? The motion on the floor is for Alexandra.
I vote yes.
Okay. Donis?
Yes.
Jacobs? Suki?
Yes.
Tomkowitz? Shade? President Shade?
Yes.
Fitch?
Yes.
Blackmer?
Yes. Majority.
I just want to keep going. Thank you. Math teacher? Bona?
Well, he already spoiled it, so I guess we'll say yes.
Council Bain? McDonald?
Yes.
McCarron?
Yes.
Sapienza?
Yes.
Zavosky?
Yes.
Maxey, yes. Alexander, welcome to the school committee. you please come up? And the city clerk is going to swear you in.
It's kind of like court, you go right to jail.
Thank you for being my math teacher. Sorry, go ahead, Councilor Blackman.
To congratulate everybody, and that we got a unanimous vote on the first vote, so yay us.
Yes, yes. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. And a second? All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much, everyone.
We will take a brief recess for the school committee members to leave and then resume the city council meeting. The meeting is now back in session. We are next on approval of minutes. First, we have the minutes from December 9th, 2025. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the meeting minutes of December 9th.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilor Fitch, second by Councilor Blackman. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it. Next, a motion for the approval of minutes for December 23rd, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
I'd like to make an amendment.
We have a request for an amendment.
It says councilors present, 7, but only 3 were present. And then it says councilors absent, 2, but 6 were. So it's just the numbers, they need to be fixed. So yeah, it should be 3 and 6.
Do we have a second on the amendment?
Second?
Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote on the amendment. All in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now back to the main motion. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we will have the hearing of visitors on the agenda. This is an opportunity for the public to speak to the council for 2 minutes regarding items listed on the agenda. I'll ask anybody that would like to speak to please raise your hand. When you're recognized, come up to the microphone, and please watch the clock. It'll count you in, and you'll have 2 minutes. Start with the gentleman back there, please. And name and address for the record when it starts, okay? It'll count you in.
My name is John Marlowe, 201 Phelps Ave. I am the union president of the local 1781, the North Adams Firefighters. I'm also a 19-year veteran of the department. The reason I'm here is to speak on and to support the proposal that Fire Chief John LaFave, Deputy Chief Bob Prado, the proposal of the new ladder truck. In order for us to fulfill our obligations to protect and serve this community, we believe that it is vital to be equipped with the reliable and properly functioning equipment. Approving this purchase, the purchase of this ladder truck will go a long way, allowing us to adequately fulfill those duties. Thank you for your time and consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak? Come on up to the microphone. Name and address for the record. Please start when the clock counts you down. Is there a reason?
Not yet.
No?
Jesus Leyland, 287 Howard Street, North Adams. I'm here to speak again as to the agenda item of a resolution to support MTA's fiscal crisis plan. Just as an FYI, the school committee did unanimously endorse it already, and the actual letter that was sent to the governor on November 18th has 1,000 local elected officials statewide that had signed it. I'm hoping that the city councilors will each add their individual names to that letter as well. I had a brief conversation with Tara Jacobs before she left, and one of the things that we were talking about is that in the context of things such as the Student Opportunity Act, how districts like North Adams that are neither rural nor a gateway city nor particularly wealthy miss a lot of the different benefits that come from specific proposals. In this particular case, MTA's legislative agenda of 7 bills, the total funding requests being asked of the state, for our portion of that, based on the number of students we have in North Adams Public Schools, we would be getting above the proportional amount. So would all of the Berkshires. It's very important that if something is very favorable to us specifically, that we show up to advocate for it. And again, we are talking about a potential over $1 million that would come from all 7 of these bills' passage. Again, not every bill is relevant to us, but it is how the coalition is built in order to pass something that works for as many districts as possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Answer questions during the discussion if that's anybody would want.
Thank you. Anybody else? Please come up to the microphone. Name and address for the record. Please begin when it counts you in.
Thank you. Woody Chamberlain, 73 Furnace Street. Thank you for your consideration on the endorsement of these bills in the State House. Again, the school committee has already unanimously endorsed them, but especially as we've already discussed the considerations on our city budget, our school budget, ultimately the state and their reimbursement plays such a tremendous role, and if we can get them to take a greater responsibility for the tremendous and growing special education costs and needs within our district and within other districts that are in need across the Commonwealth, it will only benefit all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, name and address for the record. Please begin when the countdown starts.
I'm Virginia, 36 Holden Street, North Adams, and I love the countdown clock. I want to congratulate the appointees to the Affordable Housing Trust, and really excited to see that moving forward, and I will be working with them in one way or another, I expect, so I will continue my commitment to that. I also want to comment on the rules of order, and I noted that we are extending our time for comments to 3 minutes, and I hope that trust in the public to use that time well is what I think it will be warranted. And I guess I wonder if there's a way, when there are some specific topics, to allow for a different kind of dialogue. I mean, and I don't know what that would look like at the president's discretion to say, for this agenda item, we really want a more flexible dialogue with the community, and that could be on a topic-by-topic basis in special circumstances, so that it wouldn't be this very narrow, constrained process. And then finally, in terms of the connection to other organizations, I don't know that I think we should ask anybody to carry the linked to the Regional Planning Commission, but I think having more communication on what's going on at the Regional Planning Commission, linking that to the council would be good. And then I want to thank Councilmember Zawadzki for asking everyone for their priorities, and I'm very much looking forward to hearing what those are. And then with respect to the capital improvement plan, I want to reiterate that I am willing and anxious, and whatever help I can provide in supporting getting an orderly process around that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Please come up to the microphone. Name and address for the record. Please begin when the count you in.
Paul Moriarty, 46 Johnson Street. My comments are kind of towards the proposed changes to the council rules. One, I kind of like the idea of going up to 3 minutes for people, just to give just a little extra time, because some people do tend to feel rushed as they're talking. So I think that extra minute, which can be considered kind of a long time, would be beneficial. One thing I would suggest, though, if I read the materials right, which I don't have right now, there's a proposal to move the clerk's report and the committee assignment, the committee reports updates before old business and new business. For the most part, when people come here, they're coming for the meat of the meeting, which is the old business and the new business. And then once they've heard what they want to hear, what they're interested in, they can leave and not have to sit through the things like the different committee minutes. So my suggestion would be to keep that as it is, so that the public can come in, listen to what they have, and then they can go, you guys have to be here from beginning to end. But the public, if they want to get here, listen to what they can, it gives them less time to have to be here. Thanks.
Anybody else? Seeing none, we will move on in the agenda. Starting with old business. Council Paper 12,538, communication from City Council Lisa Blackman, requesting to allow Virginia Rio to present the Planning Board's work and recommendations on the capital outlay plan referred to administration on 12/9/25 with a return date of 1/13/2026. Council Blackman, do you have an update?
Well, does the mayor, do you have anything to present, or do we just want to?
No, basically my update is Councilor Blackmer and I talked briefly about this last week, I believe it was. I have to move my podium because I can't see you over when I'm sitting there. And we're going to work together on the spreadsheet. You know, I want to applaud Virginia and her team for all of the comments that you've made and questions that you've brought up. My plan is to implement those as we move forward and shift that to the part of our budget process and review earlier that so I don't have any specific updates for tonight or even for probably next meeting. But Councilor Blackmer and I agreed that we were going to work a little bit more on the formatting, and that's where we left it, I believe, Councilor.
What I would suggest is we file the communication, because the mayor and I did have a conversation about the budget process and then specifically about the capital plan, and I want to play with the spreadsheet and try and see if there's ways to present the information that tells us what we've done, what we need to do, and then prioritizes things. And Mayor and I talked about that, but there's so many things we're working on right now. But we also agreed to start the budget process much earlier than we have over the last several years. So I don't know if I can make the motion. My motion is to file the communication.
I have a motion to file the communication. Is there a second? Second. We have a second. Is there any discussion? Mayor?
At some point, it doesn't have to be like right away, but I would like the council to look at the two ordinances that talk about the capital outlay plan. I think they kind of contradict each other a little bit. So maybe Councilor Blackmer and I can add that to our agenda as well.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor to file? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Next, Council Paper 12,547, a resolution from Councilor Andrew Fitch in support of the Massachusetts Teachers Association Fiscal Crisis Campaign postponed to the meeting of 1/13/2026 to enable the council to research. Councilor Fitch, do you have an update?
Yes, this came up last year in 2025. We referred it to this year so that we could make sure that everybody had the material that they needed to review it. I believe that has been supplied and perhaps even oversupplied through several different people sending us different bits of information. But, all 7 of the bills, we have a fact sheet of the bills in front of us, and I believe the audience has them as well. My hope with submitting this was to provide us an opportunity to help advocate for better school funding and improvements to the way that our schools, that our state prioritizes our schools. My hope was that we could come together and advocate for this and send this off to the governor and other elected officials at the state level, articulating our support. The school committee already voted unanimously in support of this as well.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
I will move to adopt.
Second.
A motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Councilor Blackman.
I just want to make a few comments. One, every group has their own legislative agenda. This is the MTA's agenda. We could have Jess bring in the MCTA's agenda, legislative agenda, and Stacy could bring in the auditors, and Jess and Kiara could bring in the assessors, and we could have the superintendents, and we could have every group out there. So this is not a unique thing. It just happens to be one of the biggest and probably most powerful unions in the state. That being said, I did look at it. I looked at the bills. I think it's got some really good stuff in it. It talks about student health and the whole student. And one of the things that I found interesting was, personally, and I guess this is my day to piss off public safety, I'd rather see a social worker in the school if I had the choice between that and an SRO. I think it's important to have social workers and adjustment counselors and psychologists and people helping our students. I was really happy with that.
I think the rural aid stuff is really good, but also one of the grants had a formula of, oh, well, it's not what you need, they're telling you to hire all of these positions. Great, you're a small rural school. It's going to be really hard to fill that position regardless because you're not going to be able to have a full-time position. But then you only get 100 to 150 per student. Well, if you only have 40 students in your school, that doesn't get you very much. So I'm not thrilled with that aspect of it. I think it should fund, if you're going to write a grant, it should be to fund a specific task, job, what's the going rate in Berkshire County, or according to MTA, what is the going rate for a psychologist? Then fund the psychologist, not funded based on the per student rate. I think it already, smaller rural communities really have an issue. And I also know, although it's said that through the SOA that North Adams didn't get that much, but having worked in the rural communities around here, they were getting an increase of last couple of years ago, it was like a $970-something per student, which is a good number compared to what a lot of the small rural schools got. So but we didn't get what Brockton got and Pittsfield got and Chicopee got and Holyoke and all the gateway cities. And I think those things have to be taken into account. The issue with funding for special education and special education transportation. I believe we as a society have a responsibility to educate all of our students, but I don't think that necessarily has to fall on the individual communities. It should fall on the state and not the individual communities, because what happens is you have people move in and out of districts, and particularly in a smaller community. When I was in Sandusfield and we had a family move into town with several special needs students, it was incredible what it did to the school budget. So I honestly think the state definitely needs to be funding more of that. And I love the fact that there's a commission to look at, and all the different groups have a seat on that if it goes through. Looking at the formula, because it does also include the Mass Municipal Association, who not only looks out for schools, but the entire municipal community, all of the municipality as a whole. And yes, we know that the school is really important, but so are all the other things that the city does. So I'm not a fan of all of these things, but I think we're good with this, and I'm going to support it.
Thank you. Councilor Zavatsky and then Councilor Green.
So I thought a lot about what Councilor Blackmer said about this is a legislative agenda. Is this something that we want the city council to kind of review legislative agendas? People have different priorities. And I think that looking at the bills, looking at the description of the bills, as a city council, we do approve the budget. The school budget is something that directly impacts us. These bills, a lot of them are things that I feel like the state should be doing. So if when we pay to send students to regional school or charter school, we don't get reimbursement that we are required to cover those costs. And I'm kind of reiterating a lot of things that are being said, but I feel like this particularly impacts us in a very concrete way. This is something that it also, we are not a wealthy school district in a wealthy community, and so if we have more students with special needs, which we have a growing population, like it is really helpful for the state to be able to reimburse some of those costs. So I feel very comfortable supporting this, and thank you for the work on explaining what this is and sharing that. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Councilor Green.
A couple things that I'm a card-carrying MTA member. I've been a teacher for 30 years and been retired for 10. This is somebody else's agenda. This is a union agenda. Not that I'm against the union agenda as a member. I can see the things. But as a city councilor, we're elected to represent the citizens of North Adams, not the teachers of Massachusetts. And when you look at it, it's a broad brush. It talks about rural schools. We're not a member of the rural school.
We're an urban school. We don't have the density and the qualifications for rural school. We receive no money. Florida, Clarksburg, Hilltowns receive it, but we will not receive a penny. There's 65 rural schools, and we're not one of them. The other thing, it talks about reimbursing regional and non-regional school districts for student transportation. That's called Chapter 74. And it was passed to pay for busing for regional school districts. We're not a regional school district. We will not get a dime. McCann's gets money, Hoosick Valley gets money, Mount Greylock gets money. We will not. And what happens is, when you read through these are bills that are working. Unless they have additional money, the money's got to come out of a different pocket, unless they fund it. They're talking about January 27th, delivering the school preliminary numbers in 2 weeks. So my concern is, we are going to do a school redistricting exploratory committee. And I was asked to be on it. I can't carry somebody else's agenda. I have to be free. I have to be open to what is best for our schools in North Adams. I can't say, yes, there's one part, they're talking about hiring a certain number of people. I can't lock us in and say, yeah, remember, we're going to hire the teachers, this thing. Who knows what's going to happen? This is a 2-year study. So I would like to go through this and send a letter to the governor, but I would like to have it where the circuit breaker, where that does make a difference for us. And in other parts where we send money, send students to BART and we get clobbered on reimbursement. If we have a stronger letter and hit the ones that make sense for us, and also the error where, I forget, it was $700,000 or $750,000 that's owed to us. We should just say, you made the error, send us the money. So I don't think we should send a blanket card saying, yes, we're in for it. And plus the fact, most of the people sent this in about 2 or 3 months ago. And, you know, again, as a MTA man, I get all the different things. I get this one, I get the national one. And here's the dramatic funding cuts are harming students, and it has nothing to do with these things. So this is on the federal level. They're talking about SNAP programs for kids. We have 75% of our kids that are high poverty. We're a very poor community. We have 4,200 people in the city of North Adams on food stamps. And we have 11,000 or 12,000 people. And when I worked at Hoosick, high school kids don't want the free lunch. They don't want to be embarrassed. And it's the same way at every high school. We had Matt Alkenbright here saying, I used to give 100 meals, now I'm up to 300 or 400, and we're buying food at the supermarket. I don't think we can endorse something that doesn't benefit, and it may hurt us on some of these.
Any further discussion? Councilor Bono?
Yeah. So obviously we're hearing some, if I could through the chair ask Councilor Breen and then possibly the mayor as chair of the school committee. But Councilor Breen, so if you had to look at that as is right now, what percentage would you feel of that package actually does benefit North Adams?
There's 2 or 3 that are have potential, but reading through the law and the complex situation right now, I don't think it's going to happen.
So, okay. But minimal, at least from your standpoint.
I think everything that can be done is being done.
So, if I could continue through the chair to the mayor. Mayor, the school committee, I think we heard it sounded like they unanimously endorsed this?
They did.
So I guess hearing this argument, why would the school committee unanimously endorse it if it really doesn't support our schools, or does it?
We think in the long run, it's going to make changes that will support us eventually. I agree with some of your statements, and I disagree with some of your statements. But I think there are some parts of it that aren't relevant to us, as Councilor Blackmer said or Councilor Breen said. But the school committee felt strongly that we wanted to stand with the MTA.
And
totally.
If it all happened, could it hurt us? If it happened?
In my opinion, it won't hurt us, but we could have difference of philosophies. There are sections of it that don't pertain to us. And so it's a resolution.
Right.
It's not law.
Right.
But it's supporting steps to make things better. And there was, I felt, more in it that made things better for us than not.
Thank you.
But it is certainly a city council prerogative, or even an individual prerogative.
Councilor Blackmer.
So I took the time, each bill has a House bill and a Senate bill, which right now we're pretty much the same. Pretty much everything said subject to appropriation. So that means because my concern, and I also reached out to the MMA, my concern was, are there things in here that are unfunded mandates? Are there things in the bills? And there were things that I looked at, like one of the things that the MTA didn't have in here, but is one of their priorities, is right now you can't, as a public employee in the state of Massachusetts, you cannot legally strike. Whether you're a police officer, a state trooper, a teacher, a college professor, a garbage, a municipal trash person, whatever. That's in the MTA, that's not in the MMA side. They don't support that. So they support a lot of what's in there. And when I look at the resolution more than the individual bills, I'm behind these things. I support these things. And Councilor Breen is correct that we don't get funding for our transportation. Heck, regional schools don't get the funding that they were promised, and it's gone anywhere from 50% to 90%, and they were promised 100%, I don't know, back in the 70s when they got everybody to regionalize. So I still think it's important to push for these things. I noticed on some of these bills, the Berkshire delegation hadn't signed on to it. I noticed that several of the bills hadn't, Representative Barrett signed on to several of them, but there were ones that other people in Berkshire County hadn't, so I found it kind of interesting. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think advocating personally with our reps and our senators, and not just the ones that we deal with here, if you know people across the state through your other relationships and your professional trades or whatever, it doesn't hurt to reach out to them. I think that has as much an impact as signing on to something that most of the work has already been done on. And it's I noticed a lot of smaller communities. I noticed individual school committee members in a small community and select board member in it seemed really, it was out of the 45 pages, that's pretty much everything, but the first page or two was all that. So I think people can do what they think. I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's a bad thing to support it.
Thank you. Before we hear from anybody else, can everybody just pull their microphones a little closer? We're having some technical difficulties on TV with sound. They're having some trouble hearing us. And please project your voices a little louder this evening. Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Councilor Zavatsky?
Yeah, so one of the numbers quoted by the MTA is if all 7 of these bills pass, our funding would represent 0.18% of Massachusetts disbursement to schools, while we represent 0.14% of the state population. I believe those numbers are correct. And so that's what Jesus was also talking about in terms of we would actually, if these pass, and I didn't look into like how they calculated it, and I don't know the school systems as well as like you do, for example, but to me that's part of it. Like, we don't benefit from economies of scale in the same way that certain communities do. So when we do have to transport students to BART, we don't get the reimbursement for that. Or when we have special education requirements for students, I mean, that's my understanding from talking to people too, that's a big concern for our school budget. We have a lot of students at Braden that do require one-on-one attention. That's something that will continue as they go through their school careers. And so I don't want to be in a position, and I don't want anyone else in this community to be in a position where we're looking at the budget and we're saying, hey, do we want to support special education, or do we want to support a staff and, you know, a staff position in the schools or something like that. And I think, so that's part of the, you know, it seems to me that these bills are reimbursing us for costs that we will have to bear. I just wanted to bring the point 14 and point 18 numbers as well to this, back to this conversation.
Councilor Brayton?
Yeah, along that lines, even if it's 100% for the transportation, we still won't get, we get zero because it's Chapter 70. It's not our bailiwick. We're not in the bucket to get that money. Regional school districts are. It's true, we do have to pay for transportation here, and it's very expensive. But even if it passes, we don't get it. And as I used to do the busing in Adams, I think the highest that we ever got in 21 years that I did it was 71%. It usually is in the 50 to 60%. So if it costs you $1 to take the kid to school, you're only going to get 50 cents. It has to come out of the budget. And at McCann, it's the same way. And what we've been doing lately is if there's a surplus in our budgeting of transportation, we send the money back to the towns. And I forget last year how much it was to North Adams. I think it was 40,000, something like that. And so I just don't want to think that if we support something that we're going to get something. We're not on the transportation for sure.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Councilor Sapienza?
Yes. You know, I can see supporting this if, in fact, the city of North Adams would benefit from it. And then, of course, I'm all for making sure our schools are well-funded and that we have the proper transportation for our students. We do lose a lot of money through the school choice program, students going to BART, students going to McCann's. In what Councilor Breen was saying, that regional school districts would get reimbursed and, you know, in-city school districts, which pretty much what North Adams is, it's an in-city school district, would probably not benefit from this. I'm kind of torn on whether or not to support it. At this point, I'm thinking if it doesn't benefit the city of North Adams, I really can't stand behind it. But if it does, and so far I've heard more arguments that it may not benefit us than I have that it would benefit us. So.
Any further discussion? Councilor Blackmer?
Well, I disagree. We do not get funding for our transportation, but it includes things like reimbursement for out-of-district Voc Tech. We're part of McCann. If somebody's going to a program that McCann doesn't have, we have to send them there, which means usually agriculture, Smith College, Smith School, just down the road from Smith College. Yet we don't get rural aid, but we would greatly impact better funding of charter school reimbursements. We would, if there's an overall formulation or rejiggering of the Chapter 70, we would get that. I read through the bills. One of them was 8 pages long. One was about not just regionalization, but collaborations and sharing services, which we're doing. We're doing with some of our athletics. So there's actually ways to study that and to get technical assistance funding for that. So there are aspects that we will not benefit from because the bill is for 351 cities and towns and all their school districts, and no one is exactly the same. In the long run, we will benefit, and so I think it's worth supporting it.
Thank
And I
you.
took the time to read all the bills and all their stuff and reach out to the MMA.
Thank you. Counselor Bono?
Yeah, I will support this. I do appreciate Counselor Breen's comments, where I don't, I'm not, which I agree with some of the things he definitely is saying. Probably the main reason I'm going to support this is because the school committee was behind it. I mean, this is something that directly does affect the school. Those are elected officials, those are a board. I would like to think they put dedicated time and thought, the administration, the members, into this. I believe, yes, the majority, we may not benefit from it, but also I think as the mayor spoke, you know, hopefully, and I think as just Councilor Blackmer said, as we start collaborating more with some of our neighboring schools, this could, even if they improve, it improves our collaboration. So, you know, this is one of those gray ones. It's not clean cut, but I guess if I'm weighing the scale here, you know, I will support it. And again, it is a resolution. It's nothing set in law at this point, and there's still probably a lot more work for this to go down the road.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Counselor Fitch?
Thank you for taking the time to have this discussion, and also for having it last year. My intention was to kind of set the tone at the end of last year that we should be thinking about education, learning about education and the challenges involved in education, and also supporting our school committee essentially with this endeavor. So thank you for taking the time. I mean, whether or not this passes, this was a win because we all did a bunch more research and we have a much deeper understanding of the challenges that our schools face and that our budget faces as a result of that. So thank you. I would also make a motion to make an amendment because Councilor McCarron did have to recuse herself from this so as to not have the appearance of a conflict of interest being an active teacher. I would request that we remove Councilor McCarron from the under recommendation of section as one of the co-sponsors of this.
Do we have a second?
Second, I'd like to make another amendment.
Let's one amendment at a time, please. Any discussion on the amendment to remove Councilor McCarron as a co-sponsor? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No opposition, motion passes.
I move to change it, approve this day of January 2026.
Second.
We have a motion, Councilor Blackmer, second Councilor Fitch. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? One opposition?
No, I'm sorry, I was going to, I want to make a motion after you're done.
Okay. Any opposed to the amendment? Seeing none, the amendment passes. Councilor Sapienza?
Yes, an amendment to remove my name as council president and insert yours.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilor Sapienza, second by Councilor Fitch. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion passes. We're back to the main motion. Is there any further discussion? Okay. I would like to say a few words on this because I did my homework and read every single word of these bills. I agree with a lot of points made tonight by many different people. Some of these bills will directly benefit North Adams. Changing Chapter 70 funding benefits our community. The special education funding benefits our community. And if we do decide to regionalize, some of those regionalization bills would help our community. There are bills that I think do not help our community, but this isn't about everything for us. This is an agenda that is being proposed by the MTA as a whole, not just for North Adams, but for the entire Commonwealth. And it's important to keep that in perspective. The one bill that makes me nervous is the quota bill, where they say you have to have a certain number of staff per this or per that. I don't think that benefits us and potentially could hurt us in the long run. But of all the other bills, I don't see that any of the other bills would harm us in any way, even if we don't directly benefit from them. And because of that, and because there are certain bills that do overall help us, I will support this resolution. Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none,
Can I ask for a roll call?
this will be a roll call vote.
Blackmere,
Yes.
Bona,
Yes.
Breen,
No.
Fitch,
Yes.
Marie is abstaining. McDonald,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes. Sorry.
Zavatsky,
Yes.
and Shade. Shade.
Did you get to the hands?
Oh, I missed. Sadly, I'm so sorry.
I'm still here.
No, I checked the wrong one.
Okay.
I'm not on top of myself this morning. Tonight.
Yeah. I was going to vote in the negative, but I think I will vote in the affirmative. Yes.
And Shade.
Yes.
7.
7 yeas, 1 nay, 1 abstention. The ayes have it. For the record and for the audience at home, Councilor McCarron did step out into the gallery to not participate for conflict of interest reasons. So thank you, Councilor McCarron. Please join us again. Next, we move on to new business. Council item 12,549, a communication from Councilor Lillian Zavatsky requesting time for each councilor to present their priorities for the new year for both their various committee liaison assignments and the general city council priorities. I will file the communication without objection. And before I turn it over to Councilor Zavatsky, I would just like to point out that because we are going to be talking about broad subjects, we can't get into debate on individual subjects when bringing up our priorities. That would be out of order and against the open meeting laws because they're not direct item agendas. So we need to keep the conversation rather vague and not have open discussion. But with that, I will turn this over to Councilor Zavatsky. Would you like to speak on the communication, please?
So, thank you. This might be a little bit anticlimactic, but my intention with this was to give the counselors an opportunity to discuss some of, so in the organizational meeting on January 1st, we got our committee and liaison assignments. So the committees and the boards that we are assigned to work on throughout the year. Many of the existing counselors have been assigned to committees that they have already been working on. And so there's kind of ongoing work. A lot of the work of the city council, and I know the public has heard this quite a few times, happens in those committee meetings. And we don't bring it to the city council meetings because then it would take a very long time. So I just wanted to give us an opportunity at the beginning of the year to kind of talk about, these are the committees we're on. This is the sort of work that we're working on that we'll continue to work on. This is something that I anticipate we'll discuss in 2026, but then also an opportunity to kind of bring up other priorities that we have for the year. However, given that it is almost 9 o'clock and we have a very long agenda, I think it's best to give this conversation some space, and I make a motion to postpone to January 2026. Is that, I'm not sure how to.
Are you looking to postpone to the next meeting?
Yes, thank you.
We have a motion to postpone to the next meeting.
And second? Oh, sorry.
Which will be on January 27th, 2026. Second?
Second.
Second from Councilor McCarron. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of postponing? Say
Aye.
Any against? Seeing none, the ayes have it. We will postpone to the next meeting. Thank you.
Good job.
Next item, council item 12,550, communication number 2 from Mayor Jennifer A. Maxey, introducing an order for bonding level for the North Adams Treasurer Tax Collector. I will file the communication without objection. Seeing no objection, Mayor Maxey, would you like to speak on the communication?
Thank you, President Shade. If I may, just to save some time, so communication 2, 3, and 4 are pretty standard for us every year to establish the bond limits for the bond coverage for the treasurer, assistant treasurer, and city clerk. Just start off, our revenue stream is about $79 million. So when you look at that on the chart, it tells you how much we should be bonding. The assistant treasurer is 25% of that, and the city clerk is basically based on the revenue she collects, which is close to $40,000 in round numbers. So this is just a standard annual thing that we do, and we bring it to the council for your blessing.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Wait, we didn't do the order, that was her communication.
Oh.
Yes,
Oh, yes.
This is the communication.
you're right. Okay.
Sorry.
Moving on to the order. In order establishing the bonding level for the North Adams Treasurer Tax Collector at $250 million. Do we have a motion?
No, $250,000.
$250,000,
Yeah.
sorry.
Motion to approve?
Second.
I wish we had that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none?
Orders have to be roll call.
Yeah, it's a roll call vote.
Oh, that's, yes, true.
We've been requested to do a roll call for the order.
Money.
Our roll
It's gonna be
call.
roll call.
So we will do a roll call vote. Clerk, when you're ready.
Blackmere,
Yes.
Bona,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Fitch,
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Sapienza,
Yes.
Zavatsky,
Yes.
Shade.
Yes.
9 yeas.
9 yeas, the motion carries. Council item 12,551, communication number 3 from Mayor Jennifer A. Maxey, introducing an order for establishing the bonding level for the North Adams Assistant City Treasurer. I will file the communication without objection. Seeing none, Mayor, anything you'd like to add?
Same story as I already said.
Okay. We will move on to the order. The order for Council Order 12,551, an order establishing the bonding level for the North Adams Assistant City Treasurer at $62,500. Do we have a motion?
So move to adopt.
Second?
We have a motion from Councilor Blackmer, seconded by Councilor Sapienza. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, you said it was roll call?
Sorry,
Roll
roll call
call.
vote.
Blackmere,
Yes.
Bona,
Yes.
Yes.
Fitch,
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Sapienza,
Yes.
Zavatsky,
Yes.
Shade.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Next item is Council Paper 12,552, Communication Number 4 from Mayor Jennifer A. Maxey, introducing an order for establishing the bonding level for the North Adams City Clerk. I will file the communication without objection. Seeing no objections, Mayor? Okay. We will continue on to the order. Council Order 12,552, an order establishing the bonding level for the North Adams City Clerk at $15,000. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Councilor Sapienza, seconded by Councilor Blackmer. This will be a roll call vote.
Blackmere,
Yes.
Bona,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Fitch,
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Sapienza,
Yes.
Zavatsky,
Yes.
Shade.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Next item is Council Paper 12,553, Communication Number 5 from Mayor Jennifer A. Maxey, announcing the appointments to the Affordable Housing Trust Commission. Nancy Bullitt, Amy Ganacharicio, Ross Jacobs, Wayne Wilkinson, and Christine Gerard with terms to expire on 1/13/2028. To the Airport Commission, William Hooper, who will replace Andrew Fitch.
Ross has different term dates.
They all have different term dates.
Okay. It's different on my packet, sorry.
Oh, I see. It's different here than where it's here.
President Shade, if I may
Yes.
help in the situation. So this is a new committee that is being formed, and we're staggering. I believe that the ordinance called for staggering starts, some 2, some 3 years. So that's what or 1 year and 2 years, so that's what you're seeing here.
Okay.
So 2 people are on the 2028 because it runs concurrent with my term. And then the other 3 people are on 2027.
Okay.
I tried to stagger them according to the ordinance.
So for the record, the communication itself is correct with the dates. The agenda has a little bit of different wording, and that's where the mix-up is. So what we will do is we will read down the names of the appointees. So we have Nancy Bullitt to the Affordable Housing Trust, Amy Anacharcio to the Affordable Housing Trust. Sorry?
Anna Carrico.
Anna Carrico, thank you for the correction. Ross Jacobs to the Affordable Housing Trust, Wayne Wilkinson to the Affordable Housing Trust, Christine Gerard to the Affordable Housing Trust, William Hooper replacing Andrew Fitch to the Airport Commission, Rita Sporbert to the Airport Commission, Sierra Dowling to the Board of Assessors, John Trusky, reappointment to the Commission on Disabilities, Robert Simmons, reappointment to the Commission on Disabilities, Lawrence Burdick, reappointment, Cemetery Commission, Gabrielle West, reappointment to the Historical Commission, Paul Marino, reappointment to the Historical Commission, Lisa Lascarba, reappointment to the Library Board of Trustees, Richard Taskin, reappointment to the Library Board of Trustees, Peter Oleskowitz, replacing Robert Burdick on the Planning Board, Ross Jacobs, reappointment to the Zoning Board of Appeals, and Christopher Thomas, reappointment to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Mayor, would you like to speak to these?
First of all, I just would like to thank all these individuals for one, the new people for putting their hand up, and 2, for the returning people for continuing their service. We're excited especially about the Affordable Housing Trust and that new group, and we look forward to welcoming all these people into the administration.
Thank you. Any objections to file the communication? Seeing none, file the communication, move to the next item. Council Paper 12,554, Communication Number 6 from Mayor Jennifer Maxey, submitting an order to authorize the city to borrow $1,751,351 for the purchase of a new E1 HR100 aerial ladder truck for the fire department. Without objection, I would like to file the communication. Mayor Maxey, would you like to speak on the communications?
So thank you. On your tables are the packet of the PowerPoint, if you cannot see the PowerPoint. Fire Chief Lefebvre and Deputy Chief Patnode are here today to give you an update on where we are with our existing equipment and why this purchase is so important and somewhat timely. There was a ladder truck ordered by another community who cannot complete the purchase. The vendor knows that we've been talking about improving our equipment and called us and somewhat put us at the top of the list. There are several other communities vying for this. Chief Lefebvre will talk about what this equipment is, how it will impact our fire operations. But most importantly, this is a tremendous opportunity for us to get a truck that is somewhat priced at 2025 values and keep us in certification. And I want to stress what the certification means. So all of us have house insurance, or if you're a property owner, you have house insurance. And part of your calculation for your house insurance is the ISO rating of our community. So part of that big calculation, they look at our fire operations and our fire service about how old our equipment is, et cetera. So I'm a bit embarrassed to say that the current ladder truck I purchased when I was a procurement officer 27 years ago. And the truck has served us well, but it has exceeded its expectancy in service, which is approximately 20 years. So with your permission, President Shade, I'd like to turn it over to Chief Lefebvre to talk to you about where we are with equipment and why this purchase is so important to fire operations.
Thank you. Please, Chief.
Good evening. Thanks for allowing me to come here and speak to you guys on this. Something that kind of, as the mayor said, kind of fell in our laps. So good evening, Madam President, honored members of the City Council. Tonight I'm here to present to you a proposal for the purchase of a new E1 HR100 aerial ladder truck as pictured on our slides. This apparatus would replace our 1999 Smeel aerial ladder. This ladder truck represents a critical investment in public safety, the operational readiness of the North Adams Fire Department, and the safety of our firefighters. The purpose of this presentation is to formally request the City Council approval to move forward with the purchase of this truck. The replacement is necessary to maintain effective emergency response capabilities, protect our firefighters, and continue to provide the level of service our residents expect from the North Adams Fire Department. Total cost of the proposed apparatus is $1,751,351. The cost reflects a long-term investment in public safety infrastructure. This department does not take this number or this purchase of magnitude lightly. We understand fully that this is a big impact on our taxpayers, and one of the reasons why we chose this particular truck to bring forward to you is because of the significant savings we would receive by moving forward with this truck. This truck is available to us at a reasonable cost when you compare it to what it would cost if we were to spec this truck out today. It equates to roughly $500,000 to $600,000 in savings for the city versus if we were to order a truck of this magnitude today. It also has an expected delivery time frame of April or May of this year. If we were to order a truck today, we could expect it in about 3 years. Somewhere in there. So the proposed replacement, I'm sorry about that. I got mixed up. There it is. Current apparatus. Our current ladder truck is a 1999 Smeel aerial ladder that's been in continuous service for 27 years, as the mayor stated. Industry standards, including NFPA 1911, which is the national standard that all fire departments try to operate under, recommends a frontline service life of about 15 years. The truck would then be moved to a reserve status for an additional 5, only responding to major incidents, and retired at 20 years old. At 27 years old, this truck has exceeded that benchmark and is increasingly difficult and costly to maintain. This was the last new piece of apparatus purchased in whole by the city. Other new pieces of apparatus that have been purchased have been through AFG grant funding with minimal matches by the city. One of the most significant limitations is that our current ladder doesn't have a pump. It is strictly an aerial ladder device. This requires a separate engine company to supply water to our ladder truck to flow water through and only the water pipe. There is no attack hose on our normal ladder truck as we have it today. This reduces flexibility at emergency scenes and can slow down critical operations. Additionally, the technology and safety systems on the truck are outdated by today's standards, increasing operational and safety risks. The proposed replacement is an E1 HR100 aerial ladder. This is a modern 100-foot aerial ladder designed to meet current NFPA standards and the operational needs of communities like North Adams. It is specifically designed for urban and rural environments, multi-story buildings, and complex rescue situations. A key improvement with the new ladder is the inclusion of a 1,500 gallon a minute per pump. The proposed ladder has 4 pre-connected attack lines as well and a 500-gallon storage tank. It will also carry 1,000 feet of supply hose. This allows the new ladder to operate independently when necessary, applying water faster and reduce the need for additional apparatus at emergency scenes. This significantly improves our operational efficiency and fire ground effectiveness. The proposed ladder includes the latest technology and safety features available in modern fire apparatus. It includes advanced aerial controls, improved stabilization systems, enhanced lighting for nighttime operations, and monitored cab safety features. These upgrades directly improve firefighter safety and reduce the risk of injury during emergency operations. This investment directly benefits the residents and businesses of North Adams. A modern, reliable ladder truck allows us to respond more effectively to fires, perform rescues more safely, and protect critical infrastructure. Ultimately, this purchase helps ensure that we can continue to protect lives and property throughout the city. So risks of not replacing the ladder. If we do not replace our current ladder, we can expect continued increases in maintenance costs, more frequent breakdowns, and greater downtime. As the truck ages further, the risk of significant mechanical failure increases, potentially impacting our ability to respond effectively to emergencies and posing safety risks to both firefighters and to the public. Based on the age, condition, and limitations of our current ladder truck, it is my professional recommendation that the city move forward with the purchase of the E1 HR100 aerial ladder. This replacement is necessary to maintain safe, effective fire protection services for the city of North Adams, and I respectfully request the City Council's approval. I thank you for your time and consideration. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Do we have any questions? Councilor Breen?
What a find, Chief. This is excellent. Quality company, Greenwood. I was reading about, there's a lot of people in the same situation of not being able to have theirs delivered, and this opportunity came. It's a great thing. But I was reading it was only like 200,000. You said close to $500,000 savings on this particular one?
Correct. So if we were to spec out this particular truck, it would cost us $2.2 to $2.3 million.
Yeah. So this is really, and safety is really important. And the other question I have is, I was looking at last year's capital project, and you can pronounce it better than I can. The next truck after this one is the engine ladder combined one?
So that would be a Quint. So we were in discussions with the mayor about our needs as a fire department and looking forward to looking into a truck. That's what brought on the discussion with our vendor at E1. We originally started to spec out a Quint. This is a Quint.
It is a Quint.
This is a Quint with a longer ladder. So it does qualify as a Quint because it has the inclusion of a pump. We were looking at something a little bit smaller, a smaller aerial ladder platform to kind of combine two pieces of apparatus into one. This came at the same, or actually a little bit less than what a new Quint would cost. That brand new ordered Quint was running around 1.85, so about another $100,000. This kind of served both needs. It served the replacement of our aerial, what we call a heavy aerial apparatus, a dual tandem axle apparatus like this. And we just felt like it was the most cost-effective way to move forward.
So let me ask you, on the projects, it says new engine year 1, purchase the Quint you're talking about in year 4, and then you have the aerial in 3. The new engine, that's already been purchased, right? That was 2015?
2015 is our newest apparatus. If you go by NFPA standards.
So this one in first year, this is not needed because you already have it?
It is needed. We're already at year 10. Yeah, so we're at year 10 with our youngest apparatus.
Okay, but you wanted to replace it last year?
Correct.
Okay. What's the life on those engines?
So NFPA recommends 15 years of frontline service and 20 years max. So we're about halfway through with our engine.
Okay, so is this considered your combined one and you still need it?
So this would serve that purpose, yes. This is a combined apparatus. This is basically takes care of the Quint piece, yes.
Okay. Will you want another ladder, though?
No,
No.
no. So this is killing two birds in one stone.
And also $2 million.
Correct.
Reduction, not just,
Correct.
okay, so this takes us out to year 4. So we should put in, do the engines also require a 3-year build?
So it's 2 to 3 years for anything spec'd out brand new, yes. So at this point, with the approval of this, by the grace of God, our next focus should be working towards the purchase of an engine, yes.
Another engine?
Correct.
Okay. This is really, really good. How does this work? Do you have to go out to bid when they offer? How does that work?
No, so E1 has a contract with Sourcewell, and we follow the Sourcewell.
So like the police cruisers?
Correct,
same deal.
yeah, so we don't have to go out to bid for it, it's all under a buying contract.
Do you put 100 down so we don't lose this?
We won't lose it as long as you guys approve it in the next this meeting and the next meeting.
Okay.
We have until February 1st, so this was placed on a 45-day hold for us. There are 9 other communities that we know of that are vying for this build. If we don't approve it, it's going somewhere else. I was asked to see if they could get it to us a little bit cheaper, being that they have 9 other people coming after it. Good luck.
Any other questions? Councilor Fitch, you had your hand up first before.
Thank you very much. Yes, a couple of questions, and actually a statement first. I was really hoping to be able to say no to this tonight, but it's a great presentation. I would love it if 1999 would not be so long ago that this other truck was made and purchased. It doesn't look like it is. The price tag is shocking. It's so nice to hear about the discounts. It's so nice to hear about the need. Thank you so much for explaining so much about that. 2 questions. One, what will we do with the retired trucks? And will we get any funds for those?
We will explore selling it outright to a community that may want to invest the money into it to bring it back to current standards. There are plenty of fire departments out there that are in similar situations with aging equipment or may need an aerial device that this would fill the role. If that doesn't happen, then we look at what benefit would it be for us to hang on to it as a true reserve piece in storage, such should ours break down or another surrounding community need help, we would be able to offer that with that piece.
Thank you. And then the second question or comment, I suppose, is through the chair to the mayor, if I may actually. Can we identify a funding stream that would help support the payment of this debt over time?
I get nervous standing next to him. So at this time, we can't apply for a grant and look back.
Right.
So we have run the numbers. It's approximately $153,000. We have approximately $629,000 of debt coming off in fiscal year 26. So we feel we can appropriately handle it through a borrowing. We have a capacity, and we don't really have another funding source at this moment other than to borrow it. With another engine, we every year annually, or every 2 years when it comes out, I'm sorry, I'm having a twitch in my eye. We apply for an equipment grant. With the state of affairs with FEMA and NEMA, those are far and few in between for us right now. So this is really an opportunity we can't pass up. So the answer to your question, no, there's not another funding stream other than borrowing the money. We can't take money out of parking meter reserve. First of all, we don't have that kind of money. And secondly, this is a way of the world. I remember when we financed the first truck, we took some money out of parking meter reserve and we borrowed the rest. Unfortunately, we don't have that capacity right now. I don't think we'll ever have $1 million in parking meter reserve, but who knows? That's a topic for another day. But borrowing is our only option at this point. And your second question, did you ask a second question?
I did ask my second question, but just to follow up on that, if we were to approve this tonight, would you commit to seriously investigating a new parking system so that we can
we are.
use that reserve?
We've already had one meeting with a vendor. We're all going to the MMA, so I'm interested in scouting out other vendors. We have a second person vendor scheduled when we come back. So we are exploring that.
it's not as lucrative as we think, but we are exploring that. We did meet with Park Mobile, Councilor Bona, you have suggested. So yes, we are exploring that. But technically, parking meter reserve is for police.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's that.
Thank you. Councilor Bona and then Councilor Blackmer.
Let's see. You mentioned about how this has a pump, and the old one doesn't.
Correct.
And obviously pump, it's not a tanker, so it's not that it holds water, it's just, it takes, I'm assuming it takes the water that's coming out of the hydrant
Correct.
and pushing it faster.
Primarily, it does have a 500-gallon tank on it, just to kind of get you started.
Yeah.
Which at 1,500 gallons a minute doesn't supply you a long time of water, but it's meant to get you flowing water until you can establish your hydrant.
Right. Now, I'm thinking I don't know, like, say, what the average pressures that are coming out of hydrants, but maybe you can tell me that. The pressure
So
that's coming
it's
out of a
less about-
hydrant versus how the pump makes that better. Or
So it's less about pressure, it's more about flow.
Okay.
The engine is designed to make pressure, so the pump on any apparatus is designed to make the pressure. We can take a very small pressure and make it large, it's the flow.
Yeah.
Most of our hydrants are averaging around 600 gallons a minute. The downtown is a little bit more because it has larger mains, and it really is depicted by the size of the main. The very outlying edges of the town are 400 to 500 gallons a minute, but that's what we're working with.
So this affects the amount of water, or how far it can shoot, or both?
No,
or
it affects how much water you have available to flow on a fire.
Okay.
It's not about pressure. Pressure is how far you can throw the water. Flow, how many gallons per minute you can put on the fire is what puts the fire out.
And what we currently have is just not as sufficient?
Correct.
Okay. And then the question came up about what would we do with this? You mentioned sale. I'm just, hypothetically, if we did sell it, if it was something a community, what do you think it would potentially could go for?
It's hard telling. Currently, it needs about $30,000 in repairs to become NFPA certified.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to take that kind of off the top.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I haven't really investigated it that much. I know there's certain companies out there that'll come out and appraise it for us. And that would obviously be a mayor's decision at that point. What
50, 100,
I mean, I'd really like to see 40 to 50,000 for it. The used market is pretty viable, but I would say that'd probably be a strong offer.
There's 3 of them parked behind the Mohawk Theater.
Well, if Mr. Buntick would like to buy it, he'd be first on our list to sell it to.
Going there.
He's got the money, man.
And the other thing is, you talked about, like, you were sort of comparing the life of these trucks by their years.
Correct.
But wouldn't also that be use and miles? I mean,
It all does.
how does ours get used versus other communities, you know?
Sure, it is, that does come into play. NFPA is a blanket standard,
Right.
and it is the gold standard in the fire service world, so that's what everybody tries to meet.
So I'm thinking like 10 years here versus 10 years in Pittsfield versus 10 years in
Sure, and
Springfield.
larger communities have a higher call volume, sure, 10 years is a big difference.
Yeah.
It's no different than 10 years here versus 10 years in Clarksburg.
Yeah.
They can certainly get a little longer out of their apparatus than we can. I will say that our call volume has been increasing by about 10% every year. So things aren't getting slower.
All right, thank you.
Councilor Blackmer and then
Okay.
Councilor McDonald.
I got a bunch of questions. These are mostly, well, one, I'll start with the fire. So we talk about custom order, and it takes 3 years. And I've talked to other town managers and people around the state, and I keep hearing that fire chiefs like to think that they're special and that their truck has to be different. And why are we constantly custom ordering and not ordering stock? And I obviously, this is what we're getting because it's what in front of us. But going forward, we might really want to think about what we can live with instead of what bells and whistles we
Sure, and we
want.
certainly did do that with our last E1. Our last E1 was a, what they would call a select program truck. That's what this was. So this is one of those select kind of, it's a truck that comes as a base and it has 2,000 options that you can change. That's the program that E1 offers. Going forward, looking at engines and pumpers of that nature, we certainly would look at that as well. We don't need a 100% custom truck. There are certain things that we require just based on how we operate, but it's not anything that's crazy out of the ordinary. The biggest cost to this is the cab and chassis. The city of North Adams doesn't lend itself well as far as topography and response type goes to commercial cab trucks. You'll see a lot of the rural communities around us, a lot of the volunteer departments that don't necessarily have our road transitions and our narrow streets go with a commercial cab truck, which is much like a box truck kind of front end. We can't do that because of the cramp angles, because of the wheelbase. We need a very short wheelbase and a very high cramp angle. So that's why we push for the custom cabs that we do.
Okay, so the rest of mine are financial, so they're gonna be more for the mayor. Okay. One, based on the numbers I ran, I'm assuming this is a level debt service and not a level principal.
Correct.
Two, you mentioned that we had 650,000 coming off of debt service this year?
I think I said 629.
Okay. Okay, over 600.
Yes, ma'am.
So this would be absorbed in that way?
Correct.
In the tax, it would just be part of the regular budget. We get a debt service budget. This is not going to increase our taxes in general, other than it's just part of the budget.
Part of the budget. It's hard to say, equate taxes to this, because there are other things in the budget moving and other things just even within debt moving.
Right, and also, you said it was 3.32, how long is that locked in, or is that?
15 years, but also remember after I'm preaching to the choir because you're a former treasurer, after so many years we could refinance.
Depending if the rates go down.
Correct. So we did our projection based on taking it right to long-term debt. We could roll it a couple years. We haven't really run those numbers, but the maximum we figured if we bring it to maturing debt right away, because it's so significant, for 15 years, that equates to roughly 153, 151 per year.
154, 135. Next question. For future, I mean, I know we talk about if we're going to need something in 10 years or 5 years. I've worked in other communities where they had general stabilization and then they had dedicated stabilization. So the highway department got $50,000 a year as part of the budget, whether it came out of free cash or came as part of the budget. The police department, it used to be 15 when you could buy a cruiser for 45. Obviously, they've all gone up. The voting machines got $1,000 a year. I mean, and so that way, and I guess maybe it's really important in a smaller community where they don't have as much ability to borrow quickly to have those kind of dedicated funds. But maybe when we talk more about the capital plan, we can start talking about maybe having some dedicated
So
stabilization.
your thought is segregating stabilization?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That would be specific to that. Like, we would vote to put $50,000 into the fire department stabilization. And so in however many years when we need something, we've already got some money for it.
In reserve. Yep.
So we would vote it, and then we could vote to change it, but it would need a 50% in.
50% out.
Yeah.
2/3 out.
2/3 out, 51% in. Okay, I mean, I'm not a big fan. I'm like, I looked at this and I was like, oh my God, you know, how many gates can we repair for that? I immediately thought of our infrastructure. But I also think this is a legitimate reason to borrow. And the rates are that's not a bad rate at all, particularly given the fact that they went up and they're coming down and it's hard to know what they are week to week. So although I was not gung-ho about this, I will support this.
Thank you, Councilor Blackmer.
Any further questions? Councilor McDonald?
Yeah. Sounds great. Thank you so much. These numbers look really great. I wanted to just re-emphasize that, just for anyone watching at home and for myself, that this will not affect taxes for residents of North Adams.
It will be within our municipal budget. We
Okay.
can cover it within our municipal budget.
All right, thank you. And then just one more quick thing. Is the truck a 2026 model or is it 2025?
So the build sheet itself, it was put into production in 2025. It'll
Okay.
come with a 2026 tag on it.
Great, thank you.
It's due to be finished building in March. It'll be delivered to our dealer in March. Then they have to basically paint it for us. And we'll go down, we'll go see the truck, we'll lay out all of our compartments, and then it'll be ready for delivery in April or May.
Great, thank you so much.
Counselor McCarron.
I want to thank you for an excellent presentation and for all you do for our city. I mean, this is great. I just have a safety question. What are the safety risks if we delay this purchase? I'm just putting it out there.
So if we delay this purchase and we miss out on this purchase itself, our ladder truck right now is in jeopardy of losing its certification for NFPA. If we don't meet certification, I cannot send it out on a call. That puts
It's down to one truck, right?
Well, it wouldn't be down to one truck, we would just not have an aerial. We would not have a ladder truck at all. And for all of our buildings that are over 2 stories, and even those that are 2 stories, that would jeopardize every citizen in North Adams.
And then if we need to support another community, we wouldn't be able to do that as well?
Correct.
Like, because we have other communities that come in and support us when we have.
Correct, we have a mutual aid agreement with all of our surrounding towns.
And then, I know you talked about saying you'd like to maybe, can you trade it in? Can you, I know you said you talked with.
There's no option to trade our ladder in, it's too old. They won't take it in on a trade, because then now they assume the liability of it, they have to bring it to current standard.
So you'd
in
like
order
to sell it? Or
So I think our best option would be to sell it on the private market.
or lease it? Could you lease it if you had that option? No?
I don't think I don't think we would want to be a grantor on a lease.
Okay. Just a thought, I was just,
Yeah,
okay, thank you. Thank you for your presentation.
you're welcome, thank you.
Any further discussion? Counselor Sapienza.
Yes, I'm going to fully support this purchase because, as the chief said, we have a lot of high structures, 2 stories plus, and that puts us all in danger. The ISO ratings and the insurance, that's what bases our insurance rate. If we don't have adequate equipment, guess what? Our homeowners' insurance will start to increase. And I know as well as anybody else that owns a home in the city, or anywhere else, that your homeowner's insurance has gone up considerably in the last couple of years regardless. So anything to help keep it back. Chief, what is the danger of our current ladder truck failing at this point in time?
Without going, so the one big key item are the lift cylinders for the aerial itself. They need to be pulled off and rebuilt. The problem with that is there's no guarantee that when they open them up that they will be able to be rebuilt. So that's where a large part of that money comes from. We may have to put all new cylinders on. Again, if they're leaking by, so it doesn't hold its altitude anymore.
Right.
Okay. And that's what causes us to fail the certification.
So we also have an obsolescence issue if we end up having to repair or replace something on this truck.
Correct. So if that went in for repair, we would be out without a ladder truck for an extended period of time.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Counselor Bono.
Yeah. I know you were saying how, like, if you could order them, there was like 2,000 options. With this one, you're going to get the okay, you can call them tomorrow. Is there anything you are going to ask to have on it, like that other than, I'm assuming, lettering and stuff?
So
is there anything you're...
In talking with the salesperson, we went over all of that before presenting a number.
Yeah.
So within the budgeted number that we presented today are the upfit of the cabinets and so on and so forth for tool mounting and all that kind of thing.
Did any of them come with a building?
No.
No.
Unfortunately not. This will fit in our building, by the way. I was told to say that, and I completely missed my part on my slide. I promise it will fit in the
I was
building.
hoping no.
We could change that, but.
You need a new building.
Just another thing that I completely forgot to throw out there is the warranty. It is a new truck, so it does come with a warranty. The frame itself has a 25-year warranty, which exceeds the NFPA rating. The body structural components are 20 years. There's 10 years on the paint, 5 years on the motor, 5 years on the pump, and a couple of ancillary 1 year, lifetime on the lighting, so on.
Thank you. Counselor McCarron.
Just one final question. If this does get approved tonight, where will you put the truck until you can either sell it? Yeah, where will that?
It would most likely go down into storage at the DPW where we have another engine.
That's just a curious question for me.
Any further discussion, Counselor Blackmer?
I just have a question. Does this have to be published? I'm asking the
Yes.
clerk.
Yes.
Okay, so I know what the motion is for the next order.
Any further discussion? Before we move on to the order, I just want to say, Chief, thank you for this presentation. Everybody asked a lot of the questions that I was going to ask, and I kind of talked to you ahead of time and told you what to expect. One question that I didn't tell you about, and I'm going to ask, is around safety. This gives us a greater capacity to pump water to put out fires. What would you say the estimated amount of time is going to be that this will save and help put out those fires and help save a building or help save a life?
So with this addition to our fire department, it completely changes how we respond to calls as we do right now. Because our current ladder doesn't have a pump, it's not an attack piece, it's a rescue piece. It's the third truck out the door. This would now become our second piece out the door, if not the first, depending on the call and the location of the call. This would provide this truck with the most ample space on scene, where typically now you have 2 engines on the scene and it kind of gets bottled up, and it's hard to get the ladder in place if you're not really forward thinking about what you have as a fire. This is going to speed up the process of getting an aerial set up for rescue operations and water flow exponentially. You're talking 10, 15 minutes before what would currently be responding.
And that's a remarkable amount of time when battling a fire and trying to save a life or save a building. With that, how does the acquisition of this truck help with the safety of the members of the fire department?
So, again, the advanced aerial controls, currently right now, if you can picture it, it's like a faucet. You open a valve and it moves the ladder, and it's very abrupt and it shakes and it wobbles. There's parts on the aerial itself that there's really no way to secure yourself to. We have ladder belts that we can connect to the ladder with, and that kind of is industry standard, but they're very restricting. This ladder here has the advanced aerial controls. Everything is dampered. You can open the valve all the way and then let go, and it slowly comes to a stop, reducing that ripping and lashing effect. More tie-off points, so a better stable platform to work off of, things of that nature.
Thank you. And then finally, if you were to respond to a call and have an issue with a fire hydrant, like we have had in the past, this truck would then allow you to start pumping water from its tanks while trying to get a working fire hydrant, correct?
Correct.
Thank you very much. Councilor Sapienza?
Yeah, one quick last question. This is not a platform truck, is it?
No, it is not.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, just briefly, I want to
Councilor
mention,
Bono.
we're talking about the jerking of the ladder. I mean, it was probably, 20, 30 years ago, we had a fireman, I think it was just because of that, the ladder jerked, and they came off, and they were very seriously injured.
I think that had something to do with the older ladders where they didn't have a pre-piped waterway. There was a hose line running up the ladder.
But again, it just
And
gets
yes.
into how
Correct.
that jerking and those kind of things can have an effect and be a safety issue for the staff.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll move on to the order. Council Order 12,554, in order to authorize the city to borrow $1,751,351 for the purchase of a new E1 HR 100 aerial ladder truck for the fire department. This is a borrowing order and has to be published twice. As such, a motion to pass to a second reading is in order.
Move to pass to a second reading and publish as required by law.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilor Blackmer and a second from Councilor Breen. Because this is a borrowing order, this is going to be a roll call vote.
Blackmer,
Yes.
Bono,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Fetch,
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Sapienza,
Yes.
Zavadski,
Yes.
Shade,
Yes,
9 yeas.
the motion passes.
I just I have a question for clarification.
Yes.
Historically, we've only voted roll call when it comes back for actual adoption.
Yes, my understanding that was clarified is the last time we had a borrowing order,
Okay.
they wanted us to have a roll call vote twice, and it caused a delay a few years ago on a borrowing order that had to come back and then be done for a roll call.
Thanks.
So we've been requested to do a roll call for both motions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Counselor Shade, if I could just quickly ask the city clerk to ensure that that gets published ASAP, please.
Thank you. Next, council item 12,555, a communication from President Ashley Shade presenting an order for the proposed updates to the city council rules of order for 2026. I will file the communication without objection and speak to my proposal. So in your packet, I've made a few proposed changes to our city council rules. Many of the proposals are language changes or simple updates, but there are a few sections where there are some big updates. Starting with rule number 7, the order of business, I'm proposing that we move committee reports before old and new business. And the reason I would like to do this is because currently, right now, with our format, we read out an order or we read out a communication, and then we ask for an update from the committee. I believe the orders and the motions will go a lot smoother if we have those updates before we even get to the point where we're asking for a motion. It also tends to lead to discussion in advance, when discussion should happen when we actually have a motion on the table. So I'd rather get the updates in advance so people have time to ask questions, prepare questions, and prepare their motions, so when we get to the item on the agenda, we can go directly into the motion, go into the discussion and debate, and vote without having to get individualized, personalized updates each time. And if you look at Robert's Rules of Order, committee reports tend to come before business for that reason. You should know about the information that you're going to be voting on in advance, rather than at the time of the motion. I feel like that will make things smoother. It's something I'd like to give a try if the rest of the council is willing. I've also proposed to move the clerk's updates before the mayor's updates. I just think it makes sense to have the clerk go first with any updates, especially around elections or things like that, before we get into individual items from the clerk or the mayor and or from us. The next proposal is hearing of visitors on the agenda. I'm looking to expand our time in the beginning of the meetings to at least 3 minutes. This is so that if people come in and want to speak about multiple items on the agenda, they have more time to do so. I feel like 2 minutes is really hard to speak if you wanted to speak on 3 or 4 agenda items, and it'd be hard, and it is hard for people to have enough time to get everything in. And we've seen people kind of rush, even with just wanting to speak about 2 things. And so I'd like to hear more from people about agenda items on the agenda in the beginning of the meeting, and allow more opportunity for the public to participate and give us their opinions, which we should all be willing to hear. Under Rule 15, we've added utilities issues under committee assignments for public services. It wasn't there before. Cable issues are there, utilities aren't. We're seeing major increases in our utility bills. I'd love to see more of that conversation go to committee for discussion for the public. Also under Rule 15, I've updated the liaison assignments to add all of the liaison assignments that were previously missing, that were not in the rules, but we have had liaisons for. Rule 27 for the solicitor, we've updated the language to have a direct communication after a vote that we want to send something to the solicitor, that a direct communication come through the council president to the mayor, who will then forward it to the solicitor, just to streamline the communication process and make sure things aren't missed. And then finally, an update to Rule 28. around our workshops and trainings. We have a provision in there to require a training within 60 and 90 days of each year that would be sponsored by the IDEA Commission. The IDEA Commission is having issues with quorum and therefore doesn't have enough time to create and put on these trainings. So I think it's important to remove that 60 to 90-day requirement because the commission isn't always able to fulfill that. I also added language that the city will provide resources if the IDEA Commission feels it's better to outsource a workshop and put out an RFP to bring in professionals to do the training rather than expecting our all-volunteer board to do all this training themselves. And then finally, adding in a small paragraph about completing the conflict of interest and open meeting law trainings that are required, and any other trainings that might be required now or in the future by Massachusetts general laws. So with that, the motion would be to send this to general government.
Motion to send to general government with a return date of first meeting of,
No, I was gonna say, don't we wait till the order to send it to general government and not the communication?
Is there an order to go? Yes.
Yeah, we're not in the order yet.
Right.
That's why I was, that's what I was shaking my head at.
Okay, is there, so we will move on to the order. Communication from President Ashley Shade presenting an order to the proposed updates to the City Council Rules of Order for 2026. This is Council Order 12,555. And do we have a motion?
yeah, a motion to send to general government with a return date of the first, or second meeting of February?
I think that's the 24th.
I don't have the calendar in front of me.
I couldn't hear him.
Second meeting of February is the proposal. That would be February 24th.
Yeah.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? Seeing none? Councilor
There was
Blackman.
just a couple of things that I think it's good to send it because there's a couple things I'd like to add. I may not be available if there's a general government meeting, but I will send my notes.
Thank you. Councilor Vetch?
Ditto. And thank you for making these changes, by the way. These are very thoughtful.
Thank you. And again, these proposals going to general government, any councilor can also submit potential rules changes for general government to consider during this time. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We'll send this to general government. Licenses.
I move to approve the licenses of applicants Michaela Bailey, Matthew Cristiana, Samuel, and excuse me, I might not pronounce all of these correctly. I'm going to do my best, though. Bonnie Rodriguez, Obilio Rodriguez Jr., Obilio Rodriguez III, Noel Sabatel, Kenneth Upton, Lisa Walters, and Tiffany Winters.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to grant a license to all of these applicants. Is there any discussion? Just for the interest of the public, all of these applicants have previously had licenses. This is just a renewal, so it would be a reissue to grant licenses to update them for the current year. Councilor Sapienza?
Also to mention that they all are employed by RJ's Taxi.
Yes, all of these members are employed by RJ's Taxi. Thank you. With that, because we're doing it all in one motion, I'm going to ask for a roll call vote.
Blackbeard,
Yes.
Bono,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Fetch,
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Sapienza,
Yes.
Zabatsky,
Yes.
Shade,
Yes.
9 yeas.
9 yeas, the motion passes. Thank you. We are now at open forum. This is an opportunity for the public to speak to the council for 2 minutes on issues of municipal significance. As a reminder, I will tap the gavel when you have reached the 2-minute signal that your time has ended. And as a courtesy, I ask that all parties refrain from any personal attacks. Would anybody in the gallery like to speak?
I know you all want to get home. I'm Virginia Real, 36 Holden Street. I just wanted to comment on communication because I've been seeing some things around that, and I want to emphasize that the most important thing to good communication is a culture. And the culture around communication, I think, in a government is an obligation. And it is the obligation to communicate to the populace, and it should be a priority, and it results in good government. So throughout everything we do, we should be thinking about having good communication. It's hard work, but it's essential. There's been discussion of a newsletter. I want to say I've looked at other jurisdictions. Dalton has a newsletter. Boyd from Williamstown has a newsletter. Both of those are great. I don't think we should just go, well, we don't know if we can sustain it. Let's try it out. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it has value. If people are excited about it, then it will have momentum, and we'll probably find a way to sustain it. The website, I know the mayor has mentioned something about updates to the website. I want to say that Dalton has issued an RFP for support for updating their website. I read it. I think it's an excellent RFP. There are great functions in there, like being able to report your potholes, track whether your potholes being repaired, all kinds of good things. Dalton's a much smaller jurisdiction. It seems like we ought to be able to achieve the kind of functionality that they're looking to have. So, thank you. I have samples of all those materials I mentioned if you want to see the Dalton newsletter, if you want to see the core of the Dalton RFP, any of those things, just I have them with me. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, mayor's updates.
I will hold my updates for the next meeting, but I just wanted first and foremost to say thank you for your support of the fire department, and I promise you I will never propose a school joint committee with you again in a city council meeting. We'll do it separately so we aren't here till 10 of 10. But the most important thing that occurred today is we bid farewell to Stephan Lamar of the North Adams Fire Department after 29 years of service. Stephan has been a steadfast member of our department, and we wish him all well, and I'm sure you all join me in wishing him well in his retirement after 29 years of service. So thank you, and thank you all for a great night.
Thank you. Thank you. Liaison updates, councilor updates. Councilor Bono.
Yeah, I just want to say, sorry I missed the big event during inauguration, but I did stay home and I watched it. And we heard Councilor Blackmer say tonight about audio issues. I think Chief said back here. The audio is pretty bad at home, like when you're watching these meetings. I could barely make out the inauguration. Sounded like it was muffled, like everyone was talking through towels in a tin can. That's what it sounded like. And wasn't because I was sick. So I'm just a little concerned because we talk about, yeah, we're communicating, we're putting it out there, but I do have to wonder exactly, are people not going to tune in because they can't hear it? But, everything's hardwired, so it makes me think, like, how's my phone record and seem to put out better audio than all these wires? But, I don't know if it's equipment. I don't know if it's the transmission from here to the TV station. But this is something we've heard on for a while. I haven't really watched it live, but when I did watch it live, it was sort of disappointing that I really struggled to try to make out what anyone was saying.
On the TV or
It was on
YouTube?
TV.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, this was through, channel 13, but it was just, yeah.
Thank you. Councilor Sapienza.
He just answered my question. Thank you.
Councilor Fitch.
Yes, I have a few things, but I'll make them all very fast. Next Monday is MLK Day of Service at Venable Gym at MCLA from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. People who are interested in serving the public, please consider going and helping out at that ceremony. Great first meeting, Councilor Shade. Thank you for being our president. And same to the rest of all the newcomers as well. You folks did great today, asked great questions. I'm curious about getting a tour of our building going / an orientation for all councilors. This is something that I thought of when I was first elected last term. I wish we had a tour of the building, somebody to kind of walk us through and tell us the history and tell us all about what happens in this building. So that's something that I'll be asking the clerk and the administration about. McCarran is often mentioned before McDonald, but I think McDonald actually comes alphabetically first before McCarran. So I just wanted to clarify that and just ask for that change, though I do love you. Connect 351 is a conference that is for statewide elected officials and municipal workers. It's happening in Boston at the end of this month. I really hope that we'll have great representation from our councilors, and I believe Mayor Maxey is interested in going as well, and some of our City Hall staff. Previously, it has often been just a couple of councilors present, whereas entities like City of Pittsfield has a bunch of people there. So if we can do this, it's going to feel really great and look really great for North Adams at the state level and also amongst our communities that also attend. So please consider. And if people need rides or support in some way, I hope that they will speak up in saying that. Chambers updates. So Councilor Bona, thank you for bringing up the audio issues. I just wanted to point out a couple other things, and I can follow up afterwards too. It doesn't have to all be right now, but I think it's time to switch out these pictures with pictures of current councilors. I think it's time to fix whatever random hole that is up behind Tina. I don't know what that is in the wall. The wallpaper is starting to fall off. The tech needs updates. The mic stands are pretty bad. People don't understand how to use them. I'll follow up with the administration about this, but I think we need some updates for this room pretty desperately. And it's, also, if people are sick, I hope that they feel the ability to not come to council meetings, because I feel so sorry for people who might be sick in this room right now, who are seemingly suffering through this. That is all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I'd like to add a few things. First, thank you all for bearing with us for a 3-hour marathon. It went great, though. Secondly, thank you for bearing with us as we implement the use of our new clock. Next week, I'm going to try it with sound effects, so it'll give a better cue and kind of be an adjustment for people to kind of get used to. And then also, I want to second the sound equipment issues. We have budgeted money for upgrades into this room. We were told last year that we should have them in process by the beginning of this year. It's time to get them in process, so. Okay. So hopefully we can get those upgrades rolling and get our things updated very, very soon. Any other, Councilor Zawadzki?
Yeah, so Councilor Fitch, you mentioned kind of a walk through the building. So I met with Mayor Maxey this morning, and we had discussed a meeting with the new councilors and the division heads. We kind of gave each other a look, so I think that look was kind of an open invitation to all the councilors to join us for that meeting. We haven't set a date or time yet, but we were looking at in February just as a way to orient ourselves around what goes on here. So.
Councilor Blackmer.
Historically, what we've done when we have a new council, particularly when we have a turnover, is we've tried to have workshops in like an off-council week or on maybe even a different day. And what happens is it's a workshop. The public can attend, but there's not an agenda. Like they don't have the agenda. They don't participate. It's a workshop. It's not. You're not making votes. You're just getting information. But it has to be a public meeting. So I think that I know that I had talked at the new councilors training about running one specifically on finance, and I'd like to do that and come up with a schedule. And again, you could meet with the mayor and department heads and see what we can do. I do have some glitches in my schedule that came about recently for a few weeks, probably a month or so. So we can see what we can do. But I know the mayor and I are working on some finance, like almost like pre-budget meetings.
Thank you. Any other councilor concerns or updates? I want to add one other thing. I want to take a moment to thank the city staff who dealt with some difficult phone calls last week. I want to encourage the public to contact us, but to please do so in a constructive manner and not in a manner that is threatening or in a manner that is harassing to people. It is important to express your opinions, but please do so in a constructive way. Give constructive feedback, and please do not harass the staff over the phone. So thank you to the staff who dealt with that, and who were able to deal with that in a professional and respectful manner. With that, do we have any city clerk updates? Seeing none, correspondences. We do have a correspondence.
Last thing, I swear. I'm sorry. Somebody reached out to me with concerns about fire hydrants, and I told them that I would read their message in tonight's council meeting, so I'll just very quickly go here. So regarding the hydrants, my daughter and son-in-law purchased a home on Lower Vesey and was in the process of renting it to their nephew. It caught fire, and the three closest hydrants were not working. A hose was run from River Street up the hill, and the firefighters did their best, but the house was totaled. Fortunately, their nephew was not home. Last year, a house on Mass Ave across from Ashton Street was severely damaged, and once again, the hydrants were not working. I worry for the homeowners, residents, and firefighters who risk their lives each time there is a call out. Please encourage the city to secure all hydrants. Thank you.
Thank you. We have one other correspondence. This is an email that many of us have received from the Berkshire Gas Company. I think it's important to read this out to the public. The Berkshire Gas Company will be holding public notices coming up in February. They are proposing to increase gas rates to generate $27,968,238 in additional revenues. These proposed rates would be an increase in your monthly bill of anywhere between 22 and 26%. So the department will conduct public hearings to receive comments on the following dates and times. The department will conduct an in-person public hearing on January 29th, 2026, beginning at 7 p.m. at Greenfield Middle School Auditorium, 195 Federal Street, Greenfield, Massachusetts. And on February 5th, 2026, at 7 p.m. at Berkshire Community College, Bullen Theater, 1350 West Street, Pittsfield, Massachusetts. And then finally, the department is conducting a public hearing using Zoom video conferencing on February 4th, 2026 at 7 p.m. The information and link will be available online, and I encourage the public to go to these public hearings and speak out if you have any concerns at all with your gas bill going up 23 to 26% a month. Councilor Blackmore?
Mayor, apparently the television shut off at 10 o'clock exactly. So could we get that on the website and maybe put on some of the city's Facebook posts about the public hearing so people would know about them? Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Breen?
On the BCC one, what is the time?
7 p.m.
7?
All of the times are 7 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And then also, the company will accept written comments until close of business 5 p.m. on February 27th. Written comments from the public may be sent to email dpu.efiling@mass.gov. And there are many other addresses you can send it to. All of that information will be published online. But I encourage all of our residents who may have any concerns with a 23 to 26% increase in their monthly bill to reach out and participate in these public hearings. Thank you. With that, a motion to adjourn is finally in order.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Councilor Blackmer, second from Councilor Sapienza. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The meeting is adjourned.